have you seen, like one of the things that I was thinking about how you were doing things. So you imagine you're writing content at scale considerably faster, like for what you're doing. Have you seen Adobe Firefly's video assets yet?
Yes, they're
It's
wild.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Let me kind of roll the
Unbelievable.
tape here and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Hold on. All right, so this is Adobe Firefly. I'm going to go through the graphic ones first. Obviously, just through natural language processing, you'll be able to do things like, hey, I'm going to change the background easily. I'm going to change the mood of the setting just by typing. Adobe's got a stranglehold because they have all this clientele and they have all these filters. And what you're going to be able to do,
Yeah.
as opposed to Midjourney, is you're going to be able to have continuity, which is going to be, that's a main thing that I'll talk about later is that every time when we talk about generative AI, I see very few companies talking about continuity. Generatively, here's a road. You can just basically go and you can type something in here, and now you can get lines on the road. From here, I'll go past this. But here's where I wanted to show you, because if you're talking about adding video assets to content at scale, so this is it's a really cool technology. And what you're going to be able to do is you're literally going to say, hey, this is this is the mood that this is the music I want on my videos. You'll be able to pick the sound effects. It will literally watch the content of your video and pick what sound effects, and it'll recommend sound effects based upon what it's seeing, and it'll change the wavelength. So when the ocean is on the right-hand side and it goes over to the left, the sound wave will adjust to the wave so that you don't have a sound mismatch. You'll be able to do things like changing the time of day. It'll automatically read your script so that when you're looking for B-roll, assuming if you already have the stock photography if you're using Adobe stock, all of that content, all those video B-roll clips will go literally into your video, so it's not just a talking head. You'll be able to do the same transcripts here, and when you go to make storyboarding, you can actually know what your videos are going to look like before they're ever filmed or shot. So what it's going to do is it's going to make the average person be able to create enterprise level video the same way the kids are doing with TikTok. It's going to get really crazy really fast. So you're creating content at scale with your product here with text, and then video at scale. It's just one of these things that when all these things are created at scale and at speed, it's going to be pretty interesting.
It is. My goodness. Imagine a world where you can type in, you can let the AI read what you typed in your script and then go find the B-roll for that script and match it. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm even seeing editing engines, and I'm just trying to think of the one that I just saw. I mean, I think that Canva has something similar, but you are going to be able to type out your script and it'll just make B-roll that matches your entire script. So how how you're seeing in YouTube that you're just literally hearing the audio and then it's just B-roll behind it.
Yes, faceless
Yeah,
videos.
exactly. It's like faceless videos. Those are going to be a big thing. Almost like Lumen 5 tried to start doing that a while back, but now we're starting to see this thing, and it's going to be interesting because just when you thought, well, maybe I'll just get into B-roll stock, there's companies like runway.ml who are making 18-second clips, B-roll clips, just by simply typing in what that is, So crazy, right?
It is. That's why I'm working in AI, Chris. I'm not a writer anymore.
I spend most of my time just educating people on what's going on with AI and stuff like that. But one of the things the reason why I went through that whole dance was to talk about the challenge that I'm seeing in early days is continuity. So let's say hypothetically I create one image. When I go and ask it literally almost an identical prompt, even if I'm trying to use the same filters and things like that, the images and the graphic design don't always match up. You know what I mean? Specifically in Midjourney, it's very hard to get two images. Say I have a 6-page website and I want the same style image each time. Continuity is very difficult. And so I'm really waiting for the next engine. And did you get Duet yet? Do you have Google or do you have Microsoft?
Google.
Yeah. Did you get Duet?
Yeah. No, not
Oh, yeah,
yet.
it's out. It's out. You can get Duet right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
Nice.
they have slides and you can type in generatively what's going to go in the background of your slides. But even there, they don't have continuity. So I like, I like when I think about my brand, I love the consistency. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so when I think
That's
continuity
important.
and consistency, that's the main chapter when people are talking about generative from a visual standpoint. I'm like, everyone's talking about ideas at the speed of thought, but they're not talking about, hey, all the brand guys are sort of looking at each other. It's like, we still got time. It's still just cute.
It's true.
Right?
And that brand experience is often what makes or breaks the actual
Yeah.
sale.
Yep.
So that part you can't get wrong. You can't leave that to AI. And that's why even in
Yep.
our tool, we teach the craft framework, like don't leave this completely up to AI.
Yep.
And the good news is like you're still needed. It's just, what did IBM say last week? It's reskilling. That's how you've got to think of
Reskilling.
this. Your skills are going to
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Yes.
I dream of the generative company that makes, when you get the output, it gives it to you in layers. Because that would be really cool.
Oh.
Because if you can't give me continuity now, give me the layers so I can take the ideation and take it where I want to take it. Because it's all flat,
Yes.
if I want to dream on, I got to hand it to a graphic designer who's like, can you do this? You know what I mean?
Yes. That's been the struggle with Midjourney. I'm like, oh, I can't even. There's no vector. There's no.
No.
There's no layers. There's no original file I can use. It's just a JPEG. Oh, too
Yeah, I
bad.
know.
I can't use
Yep.
that.
I'm literally, because my slide deck is gold to me. And so I'm getting the start from Midjourney and I'm going to like Upwork
Yeah.
or other places and saying, hey, I got this to 80%. Could you, like, I have this one slide where it's a robotic arm that grabs a ball, but then it's supposed to be an airplane hanger full of these robotic arms. And I could get Midjourney to make the airplane hanger full of the robotic arms, but they couldn't get the fingers or collecting the ball. So now I got to go back to a caveman graphic designer and say, can you make what Midjourney couldn't? And I mean, like, there's nothing worse than like waiting 20 seconds between tries on Midjourney. Because I'm like, no. Yeah,
The struggles
I know.
now. It's like the 20-second gap.
that's right.
Oh.
Seriously. Yeah. They would talk about early days in Pixar and like Woody, like in Toy Story, like to go from like, he'd be waving and be
Yes.
like, this was like 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
yeah, it's funny, but it's like the 20 seconds I have to wait for Midjourney feels like a year.
Yes. Like the 7 minutes I wait for content scale to write a blog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this used to take 7 hours. Okay,
Yeah.
slow down.
Meanwhile, heaven forbid you go out and get a cup of coffee, right? For 7 minutes.
Right.
So
The
last
struggles are different.
question, it's an SEO question that I just realized I didn't answer. When you think about long form content, right? When you think of long form content and then also cluster based content, do you ever just do certain articles that are just long form content, or do you find that the long form content you're always doing is always a hub just waiting for spokes? Like, do you ever just create siloed content? Because Brian Dean
Yes.
does not, at Backlinko, does not do clusters.
Right.
He does
That's true.
siloed content, skyscraper content. And I think that everyone is like clusters, clusters, clusters. And I'm like, well, some of the greats are still building silos.
Yes. I think it depends on your use case, right? Like for Brian Dean, like he on the back end of that, he was selling a course and he was building up that wait list for that
Yep.
course. So in that case, like you might be better off, using content at scale or an AI to generate that 7,000 word, 10,000 word. And at this time and point we're talking, you can actually guide content at scale to do 7,000 words, 5,000
Wow.
words. And coming up, it can do landings that are like 10,000
Jeez.
words. So that's going to be possible, as these AI tools get better
Yeah.
and better. So that is the direction I think you could go in depending on your goal. If you're more of like, and if you're in a health provider niche and you have multiple health issues you're talking about, well, somebody doesn't want to read a whole 10,000 word Brian Dean guide to find out how to, clear toenail fungus. Terrible example. But like they just want that little
Yeah.
spoke.
Yeah.
So you got to think of your use cases there. And,
Yep.
there's a lot of great examples, but Brian Dean isn't serving that same audience you might be. And you got to think of their preference and what they want. What's their experience going to be? Are you giving them the experience that they're looking for
Yeah.
whenever they land on your
Like, I
site?
don't think I need the definitive guide to toe fungus. I think I just need, give me a name of a doctor or yeah. That's
Yes.
funny.
A quick
Yeah.
solution here.
Now, when you think about the alternatives, a little bit about what you're doing here, if I'm just working backwards off of the AI platforms I know, you're going to have to press for OpenAI, you're going to have to press the continue button to get to 2,500 words like 15 times.
Yes.
I think if I went to Claude, I could probably do it in 4 clicks, 3 clicks. What's the most you're going to get out of Claude? I know their token size is longer, but I don't think it's
It is a little bit
like
better.
1,500
It's
words?
still at least 4.
maybe 1,500 words, right?
Yes. Maybe.
Yeah.
And it could be superficial too. You got to deal
Yeah.
with that.
I mean, I think you could probably go open source Llama to do that. But once the focus is off on these things and they try to go longer formatted, I don't know that you've seen this or not, but because you've honed yours. But if I was to go an open source model with Llama, like it can go off like way off. Like it starts there, we're talking about content marketing, and it's just like, and this is why we're going to invade Mars. I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I've seen that. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh dear. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't want to ask how you did it, but I think it's really cool that our listeners know that the alternative models for this are a lot more elbow grease to get the same outcome because unfortunately, like the token limits, they're selling OpenAI to like the world. If they just gave out unlimited token limits, they're going to try to do that with enterprise, but I don't think it's going to be nearly. I still think the enterprise token limits are going to be maybe 1,000 words. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a great point. I think that's the use case of why Constant Scale was built,
Yep.
right? Like that was the problem. The creator was an SEO marketer coming from 20 years of doing this, trying to use ChatGPT. It was breaking or it's hallucinating,
Yep.
like you said. So that's why this software was built. It came directly from that problem, which is cool,
Yep.
right? Versus there's a lot of AI founders, companies that are just trying to get in on what they see as the gold rush, and really it's no better than you might as well just go get Claude or ChatGPT Pro.
Yeah.
This is just a facelift, lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
But that's not constant scale. It's actually very useful for a specific goal, which is that long form content. Great
Very
point.
cool. Very cool. Well, listen, I think we're about at our time, right? Yes. So
Already.
I
went
know it
fast.
did go fast. And I think I had a technical snafu that put us behind. But I just really enjoyed talking with you today. If people want to find out about your plans, do you have a coupon code or something like that to give out? Or no, I'm just kidding.
I love it, Chris. Well, if you are an affiliate, they can click on
Oh,
your
there you
link
go.
and get 20% more free credits.
Oh,
So
perfect.
there you go.
Yep.
Click Chris's link. I'll get you signed up for the affiliate program
Okay.
if you're not.
Okay.
That way you have a
That'll
link to
work.
give out.
No, tell me just how would they find out about how to get started with you guys, with your software?
Yeah. Continentscale.ai. In November, the whole site will be changing. We're going to give you the actual experience of the app before you sign up to learn about it. So you can just basically enter a slideshow. It'll be a really intuitive website experience. So that's coming in December. But till then, you can sign up. It's an invitation only right now. So you put in your name and email, and then you get all the info on how the tool works, how to sign up to it. It's subscription based, and it's based on the quantity of content you need, starting at 8 posts a month. And what you pay is like anywhere from $30 to $15 per post, and that's that long form that we just went over, up to 7,000 words, undetectable, original. So if you were to pay a writer, what would that cost you?
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds, right? So the savings there is pretty drastic. But continentscale.ai to
Awesome.
learn more.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. To our listeners.
Thank
Yep,
you, Chris.
yep.
This was
This
fun.
is great. We're gonna have to do it again for sure.